Buenos días y bienvenidos a todos. Good morning and welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Puerto Vallarta, which is a community dedicated to providing spiritual tools for living a happy and full life. My name is Karina Shear, and I am the founding minister and spiritual director here at CSL Vallarta. If you would like to join our live Zoom meeting, please contact me for the link and the password, or check our website, www.cslpv.org, on the weekly talk section. Today is Sunday, February 8th, and we are continuing our monthly theme of embracing the edge. Today, our topic is walking the edge of life. And a reminder that the suggested reading for this week is the book, The Inward Journey by Howard Thurman. So at this time, I'd like to once again welcome everyone, including those that are new to our teaching and to our center here in Vallarta, whether you are on the Zoom call live or watching the replay at a later time. We honor all faith traditions, so whatever path you are on, know that it is the right one for you and that everyone is welcome here. We teach a philosophy called the science of mind. It's a teaching based on new thought and ancient wisdom, where we offer spiritual tools and principles to promote personal growth, and we honor diversity in all aspects. When Dr. Ernest Holmes founded this teaching in the 1920s, he had studied both Eastern and Western spiritual texts in order to create the science of mind, which focuses on the individual use of thoughts and this powerful thing called the mind. When asked to provide a concise definition of the teaching, he had replied that it is a correlation of laws of science, opinions of philosophy, and revelations of religion applied to human needs and aspirations. So each week, we offer a service with an inspirational message. We offer the Zoom meeting at 10 a.m. and meet in person Sundays at noon. So let's together review our purpose, vision, and mission statements. We have a grand purpose here each week, and that is to awaken and celebrate diversity and to love and serve our community. We do this by means of our vision, creating the life you desire. And this is supported by our mission to provide spiritual tools for personal growth and transformation. And more on all of these can be found in their own drop-down menu on our website. And now, as we have continued, let's have a reading from today's Creative Thought magazine, which is an affirmation. And this is from Saturday, February 8th, 2014. And as you know, affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment is always done in the first person. And so I invite you to take these words as your own if you so choose. In observing the night sky, I feel the power and presence of God. As a unique divine expression of this one spirit, I honor my Creator and this life that I've been entrusted with. I trust the ultimate entity of truth and perfection, and I trust each day that my life is on purpose. I am awake and aware to see God's perfection in action in those I meet and things I hear. News both good and bad. My life is one conscious expression of cause and effect. By making time to honor God and being open to receiving grace, I use it to expand love in the world. Consciously, I move forward into another full day, fully supported by my divine nature. In humble thanksgiving, I see how beautifully simple and perfect this life of mine is. This awareness in itself is worth my honor. I trust in the process of this spiritual life. Let my word go to law and let God's grace express through me. And so it is. And that was originally submitted by Reverend Mary Mitchell from Redding, California. So spiritual meaning shows up even when it's difficult. What does it look like when my truth, to live my truth, when it feels risky or sometimes uncomfortable? Well, this week we are examining the outer expression of an inner edge where values become visible. Adrienne Mary Brown wrote this: to break one's own patterns down, the entire space of truly not knowing what to do differently and surrendering to that. It's miraculous work that requires strength, repetition, and practice. And Ernest Holmes wrote this in The Essential Ernest Holmes. He said, think of the whole world as your friend, but you must also be the friend of the whole world. In this way, and with this simple practice, you will draw to you so many friends that the line will be too short to enjoy them all. Refuse to see the negative side of anyone. Refuse to let yourself be misunderstood or misunderstand. Do not be morbid. Know that everyone wants you to have the best. Affirm this wherever you go, and then you will find things just as you wish them to be. So walking on the ledge of life means showing up for the truth that lives within us and allowing that truth to move toward us in real and visible ways, even when it feels risky. I commend all the people in Minnesota who were out in the streets in the cold, standing up for truth, justice, and the Constitution. Howard Thurman reminds us that our inner insights are not meant to stay hidden. They are meant to be achieved in the deed. And that's exactly what these people did. Science of Mind teaches us our thoughts and beliefs shape reality. But it also calls us to do and take right action, embodying the values that we affirm, living as if our vision for the world is already true. To live our truth beyond comfort means to look past fear of misunderstandings or rejection, and to act as a friend to the whole world, as Ernest Holmes urges us. This week's theme challenges us. Can we hold that inner steady rhythm of life and still step into situations that require courage, vulnerability, or even sacrifice? Walking the edge means leaning into the space between safety and growth, where faith becomes lived experience. Holmes wrote this: there is a simple latitude for personal expression. How then are we going to know what is right and right is wrong? We are not going to know. We already do know. So when we live our truth, we inevitably encounter moments of discomfort. And it might mean speaking up when silence feels easier, standing firm in values that others don't yet understand, or showing kindness when cynicism would be safer. The people in Minnesota, Chicago, Los Angeles, Portland, and many other places are all bravely standing up in the streets demanding truth. And I'm sure you didn't hear this in international news, but even here in Vallarta, the people took to the streets demanding truth and justice when a young mother was struck by a speeding car while under the influence of alcohol. He was released from the hospital the following day and fled to Miami to avoid prosecution, while she remained in a coma for 3 weeks before succumbing to her injuries. The main highway was blocked near the airport and the cruise ship port by the protesters until he was returned to face the consequences. The judge ordered him to remain here in jail for 1 year while his case is being processed. As a collective, we can ask, what does it look like to stay faithful to our inner compass when the path is steep or rocky? Holmes wrote this: to live by inspiration means to sense the divine touch in everything, to enter into the spirit of things, to enter into the joy of living. So Science of Mind is not only teaching us, or a teaching of ideas, it is also a teaching of embodiment. Ernest Holmes reminds us to refuse to see the negative side of anyone. That refusal is not passive. It takes courage to hold love and goodwill in situations where frustration or fear might otherwise lead. Walking the edge of life means practicing this, seeing good where it isn't obvious, and living from that vision anyway. In The Science of Mind, Holmes wrote this: what the world needs is spiritual conviction, followed by spiritual experience. I would rather see a student of this science prove its principle than to have him repeat all the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered. It is far easier to teach the truth than it is to practice it. So here's a little story. Everyone in town knew Amos for how he showed up, for his good deeds. When Mrs. Calder's basement flooded at 2 a.m., Amos showed up in rubber boots and a flickering flashlight. He pumped water until dawn without saying a word about sacrifice or service. When she tried to pay him, he waved it off and asked if she'd eaten breakfast. When the new cashier at the supermarket rang up a customer wrong and started to cry, Amos waited quietly in the line while others groaned. He told a bad joke, so bad it looped back around to funny. The line seemed to move faster after that. Someone once asked Amos why he was the way he was. He shrugged. Truth leaks out, he said. Might as well make sure it leaks in the right direction. He never claimed to be anything other than average, but people noticed when he left the room. It felt steadier, kinder, like something invisible had been put back where it belonged. The people of the small town knew they were seeing goodness in action, walking around, carrying groceries, holding doors, telling terrible jokes, and loving people when no one was watching. Goodness made visible. In The Inward Journey, Howard Thurman wrote, human need in all of its dimensions, is a swinging door into the innermost life of another. To put it differently, it is the point at which spirit is most highly sensitized for communication. If a person is moved from within their own spirit to do the deed of ministering to the need of another, and if the need of the other is at the point which a spirit is most highly sensitive to communication, then it follows that the good deed is a meeting place for the mingling of one life with another. What a person has experienced in insight, they achieve in the deed. What a difference giving makes now. It is no longer an offering merely of money or time or service, viewed as a sacrifice or a cause for merit, recognition, or glory. It is a simple sacrament involving all of a person as their spirit moves through the swinging door of need into the very citadel of another's spirit. So there is an edge between private belief and public action. Many of us find comfort in our spiritual insights, but hesitate to bring them into the visible expression. So this week, we are asked to cross that edge, to let what we know inwardly guide us, what we do outwardly. What would it mean if every act, every conversation, every choice became a simple sacrament, as Thurman said, and as expressed in the story about Amos? Cory Booker said this: "This season in America is not a referendum on any one person. It's a referendum on all of us, one on who we are and who we're going to be to each other. Will we be a nation of love? That word love is not about sentimentality. It's about sacrifice, service, struggle. It's saying what happens to you affects me. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." So walking the edge of life is not about reckless leaps. It's about courageous steps. As students of Science of Mind, we are invited to bring our insights into action, to turn our deepest truths into daily deeds. Holmes calls us to be friends of the whole world, and Thurman reminds us that giving, our actions, words, our presence, can become a sacrament when offered from the Spirit. This week, we remember the edge is not where faith ends, it's where faith begins to be seen. So take time this week to journal about a time when you acted on your truth, even though it felt risky. And how did your body feel? What emotions rose up before, during, and after? Reflect on the edges, and you may still be standing at those edges now. Places where you feel called to speak, to share, or move, but fear or discomfort holds you back. And ask yourself, what would my life look like if I trusted my truth enough to live it visibly, even when it's uncomfortable? This week, practice living your truth beyond your comfort zone each day, and ask yourself, where am I being invited to show up fully? Maybe it's an honest conversation, a gesture of generosity, or a moment of kindness when it feels inconvenient. Trust that your truth is not fragile. It is meant to be lived. Take one small, brave step into visibility this week, knowing that every act of courage ripples outward. shaping the world that you long to see. And I'll leave you with this quote. There are two risks: the risk of trying something new and the risk of not trying it. Either way, there's risk. And sometimes stepping out and trying something new is actually the less risky thing to do. And that leads us to our affirmation for the day. I live my truth, even beyond my comfort zone. And now it's time for mindfully giving and financial support of our spiritual home. We rely on your support to continue our center here in Vallarta so that we can continue offering this powerful teaching of the science of mind. And we bless the gifts that you give today. Every donation is appreciated, no matter the amount. Donations can be used or can be made using PayPal or Tithely through our website, www.cslpv.org. And you'll find the donate buttons on both the landing page as well as on the page where you find the weekly talks. Alternatively, you can still send in a paper check by addressing it to CSLPV number 403, 2125 Birch Road, Kelowna, BC, V1Y8M1. And we also still accept cash in person. So now join me in our offertory affirmation. I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I do give eternal thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. So thank you for coming and sharing this time together. And let's continue practicing peace. Is anybody else following the monks in their peace walk? It's a beautiful thing. We can each be a force for peace and nonviolence. Our words and our actions create ripples of peace all around us and beyond. Peaceful living includes acting with compassion, kindness, and consideration. And it also includes standing up against injustice. And today, more than ever, we need to stand for peace. So hug your friend, your loved ones, and your neighbors. May peace and love be with you. Blessings to all. Namaste.